I wake up in a warehouse, a big industrial warehouse, but it's different. There's no ceiling. Well, let me explain. I wake up in it appears to be a room, just a normal bedroom, but above the bedroom there's no ceiling. It's just big open space, then a big metal ceiling with mirrors above it. There are 6 other people, making it 7. With this waking up next to me, I have this weird metal anklet around my foot. We all start panicking. We run left, right, trying to get our way out. All of a sudden, a door slams open and we hear a gunshot. We all hit the floor. A man walks through, looks at us smiling. He had a tobacco pipe in his mouth. He had thick glasses, a polo shirt, blue jeans, and I guess normal attire, as you'd think. He looked at us, smiling, and said, well, looks like everyone's awake. Now, you're probably wondering why you are here. Well, you see, I have bought you all from the black market. Silly, I know, but you can't even imagine the things they can get for you. Anyway, you are here to be mine and my family's servants. You are to clean and work. We have you beds and rooms. We will feed you breakfast, lunch, and supper. Sometimes dessert. On occasion. Now, the anklets around your foot, by the way, they are like dog collars almost. You leave this house I have made for me and my family, and you get shocked with volts of electricity so powerful you get knocked unconscious. So, first order of business. The kitchen needs cleaning. So, let's get to work, shall we? He leads us to the kitchen area, and it's disgusting. Dishes are everywhere with food caked on that look like it was there for God only knows how long. The floor was black. Disgusting, slippery, greasy shit. Flies everywhere. There were garbage cans filled to the brim with bones. The bones were so broken and distorted, I couldn't tell what type of bones they were. He said, he looked at us smiling, taking a puff of his pipe, and said, you have about 3 hours to complete your task. Once you're done, we shall eat supper, then off to bed. So, do me proud. He walks out the door, leaving us to the filth. We sit there for 2 hours straight, cleaning the filth. By the time we get done with it, we are exhausted. Oh my God, are we exhausted. It felt like someone dropped a 50-pound weight on my shoulders. from from a s from high above. My shoulders and my back hurt so bad, it felt like someone stopped me. The man walks through the door as we sit down on the ground, panting. He looks around, smiling. It appears you've all done a good job. Wow. You have really convinced me to keep you. Well. So, let's all go eat. He leads us all. We help each other up off the floor, and he leads us to a dining room. It looked gorgeous. It had a chandelier, a glass one from the ceiling, over a long table. It had fancy looking chairs, a red tarp going over the table, made of silk. He sat us down to the seats, and everyone's wide-eyed smiling. He sits us down, and he leaves. He starts bringing back plate after plate to each of us. Then he brings a bottle of wine. He starts pouring them into the wine glasses that are sitting before us next to the plate. And he sits down at the end of the table. Go ahead. Tell me what you think. Everyone hesitantly looks at their plate. He had mashed potatoes, peas, a big slab of barbecued smoked meat, and it smelled so good and so inviting. Everyone started gouging themselves. I grabbed the fork and the knife, and I hesitantly took a bite that I will soon regret. I took the bite, and it was delicious. Oh my God, so mouth-watering. But for some reason, it had bones. With every bite I took, I'd be picking a bone out of my mouth. I looked at the man and said, excuse me, sir, but not to be rude, but why are there bones in the meat? He looks at me and smiles and says, I'm so sorry, dear boy. Preparing meat is a very hard task, especially meat of that quality. You see, when preparing the meat, the bones are hard to take out. The bones like to shiver sometimes and like to hide. So like I said, I'm sorry and I apologize, but I hope you enjoy the meal. I smile, thanking him, and I finish the meal fast. I start guzzling wine. He smiles so happily at us. He gives us more wine, and he starts making conversation with us. He asks us our names. There was John, Vincent, Jake, Natasha, Jennifer, Luke, and me, David. After we all finished eating and we were all exhausted and sleepy, he took us to our rooms. Everyone opens their doors almost simultaneously, and we're shocked. We are shocked to see all of our belongings in the rooms. But the rooms, they looked almost like hotel rooms. Beautiful beds and sheets, beautiful cabinets, television, just about every last bit of our belongings and our clothes were there. How he managed to do it, I have no idea. But I smile and jump onto the bed, crawling under the covers. I nuzzle my head into the pillow and I start to rest. It was the softest, most comfortable bed in the world I've ever slept on. I thought to myself that night before sleeping, this is not so bad. This is actually kind of nice. We have our own rooms, food, a place to stay, free will, and all we do is work like any other human being. This is actually not that bad, I thought to myself, chuckling a little. I finally sleep. As I wake in the morning, I hear a bell ring. We all leave our rooms, and the man is standing at the dining room entrance, ringing a bell. He looks at us and tells us it's time for breakfast. So we all walk in smiling, half awake, half asleep, and we sit down to the table. He brings us the plates as usual, brings us orange juice, milk, 2 glasses, big huge glasses of milk and orange juice for each of us. And what was on the plate was bacon, eggs, and a slab of meat. Kind of sort of like the meat from last night, but it was cooked differently, almost like in a skillet. We all start eating, and he sits at the end of the table, as always, smiling. I eat everything but the meat. He looks at me and asks why I haven't tried the meat. Not to be rude, I grab my fork and knife and cut into it and take a bite. It tastes better than what we had last night, actually. But I notice while eating that one of us was missing. I look at the man and I say, "Excuse me, sir." He said, "Oh, call me Tom." Alright, Tom. Weren't there 6 of us last night? I mean, weren't there 7 of us last night? There's only 6 of us left. Yes, I'm afraid to announce that your friend, he escaped last night. And somehow he was able to break off his anklet after getting electrocuted multiple times. The collar was found at the doorway. It appeared he ran away. I'm sorry to hear about that, but I'm sorry to inform you about that, but what can you do? I shrug it off, smiling, and finish eating. After we're done, he tells us just to leave the plates, he'll clean up. Wow, that's nice. That's a nice guy. He leads us down to the basement, and it's dark, besides a little sunlight shining through the windows. That's it. He flicks a light, and we see boxes and cobwebs everywhere, piled to the ceiling. Alright. Today's job is to help, well, help, I mean you. By help, I mean you. Clean out my basement. Arrange everything, clean it, make it look decent. If you need a rest, if you need some water, allow me to know. He smiles at us with that same smile, and he walks back up the stairs. We go into it, and about 3 hours into the work, Jennifer gets tired. John was missing that night, and Jennifer, exhausted, wipes the sweat off of her forehead, tells us, "Guys, I'll be right back. I'm exhausted. I'm about to go get some water or something." She walks up the stairs, and three more hours pass, and she doesn't come back. The man walks down the stairs and looks around and congratulates us on the work we did. "Wow, you guys did an excellent job. You want to know what? I'm about to cook you guys something extra special tonight. But for now, you guys look exhausted. You should all take a nap." We all walk from the basement and head to our rooms. Everyone starts nuzzling down in the bed, but something doesn't feel right. Something is wrong. First John's missing. Then Jennifer hasn't come back within 4 to 5 hours of her leaving. I lay in bed with one eye open. I hear everyone else rumbling up. So I stand out of my bed, and it appears everyone's still in their beds. But I hear a rumbling. I hear a shaking. But it wasn't coming from the bedrooms. It was coming from... It was coming from a room. From the kitchen area. It was a... I start walking toward the kitchen area. It was a door. A metal door. Freezer, actually. It appeared to be a freezer door, like you would see in a restaurant in the back. Well, I start to walk up to it, and then, as I am about to open the door, the man walks out. Tom walks out. He has a slab of meat wrapped in plastic, and he looks at me. "David, what are you doing up? I thought you were taking a nap." I look at him strangely. I wasn't sleepy. What type of meat are you making?" I asked curiously, looking at him in his eyes. "It's special imported meat from, blast, where was that area from? It's actually beef, believe it or not. Ground beef. It's imported from a special area to where it's clean and fresh. Only the best for my servants." He closes the door and puts a lock on it, a padlock on it. But it doesn't take a key, it takes a combination. He spins the 3 numbers around rapidly and slams the lock. "You should be getting ready for dinner, David." Well, I walk away, smiling nervously. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." I run back to my room and sit there and contemplate for 2 hours. It's dark by now. Then we hear a bell ring. Everyone rushes from their room, running. I mean, this time they're running to the dining room like they're addicted to the food. I walk in the dining room, and it's the same slab of meat, but it's like burgers. And onions, tomatoes, everything's on the burger. Everybody starts drinking the wine and eating the burgers, gouging it down. I'm talking, I've never seen a human being gouge down food the way they did. I'm just staring at the burger, and Tom looks at me and smiles and says, David, why don't you try the burger? I pushed the plate away from me and said, I'm not hungry, sir. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like eating at the moment. With a calm, trying to stay calm voice, I take the wine and I chug it down. I'll at least have more wine then. He starts pouring me the wine. By the end of the night, I've almost finished the bottle. We all everyone full, goes back to their rooms, and I stumble to my room, sitting there, and I pass out. I wake up late that night. Everything is dark. Going through my mind, what the fuck is in that room? I just couldn't think about what would be in that room. I don't know why I had such suspicions, but I had to at least know what was in the room. So I go to Tom's bedroom and I open the door slowly. His wife and his child sleeping in separate beds. I go over to his desk and I start flipping through paper, anything, and I find a receipt for a padlock, and I see the combination 693. I remember it in my head, and I push the paper back into the desk. I run, tiptoeing as fast as I can to the door. I hit the combination and I slam the door open. It's dark and cold. I slowly walk in and I feel for a switch. I feel a switch on the wall. And I wish I wouldn't have pulled that switch. I just pray to God now that I would not have pulled that light switch. I turn the switch and I see bodies hanging off of meat hooks. Bodies that had gashes cut into them. I see like an operating table, a bloody operating table in the middle of the room. And I see Jennifer and John on a hook. I vomit. I see slabs of meat on a counter, on a tiled counter, wrapped in plastic. I start backing away, vomiting, retching. I run as fast as I can to my bedroom. I put on my clothes and I run around the place looking for anything I could use. I go into Tom's bedroom sneaking. I find a gun in his cabinet. I cock it back and slam his light on. That sick freak. It wasn't his wife and his child. Further inspection in the beds, it was 2 dead corpses, a child and a woman. They were decayed, laying in the beds. Tom jumps out of bed. He looks at me with a worried look. David, what the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be in bed. I know what you did, you sick freak. I know exactly what you did. You fed us. People. You've been feeding us. Your servants. And I'm gonna tell everyone exactly what the fuck you've done. He looks at me and laughs. David, what are you talking about? You're not gonna tell anyone. What the fuck are you talking about? While you were in the freezer, which I knew you'd be looking, I dispatched of your friends one by one while they were sleeping. I think they'll make fine slabs of meat. Delicious slabs of meat, don't you think? I stop myself retching, trying not to vomit. I pull the gun to him. He starts slowly walking to me. We are all animals in this crazy world. Everyone thinks it's wrong to eat other people, but don't you get it? It's just like a dog. Eat dog world. Wolves will eat another pack member when they're shunned from the herd. Same difference. Plus, who's going to miss them? They had no families. I pull the trigger and I miss. I hit the wall and I cock the hammer back again. You stay away from me, you goddamn freak. There's nowhere to run, David. The anklet you've got there is going to prevent you from even leaving this place. That's what you think. That's what you think, you sick fuck. I start running and he's just standing there. He's not even following behind me. I get at a safe distance and I point the gun to the anklet and pull the trigger, and I keep firing upon the anklet. The bullets keep ricocheting off. I run back to the freezer, looking around for a saw, watching behind me for any sign of that freak. I grab a bone saw hanging from the wall with other surgical tools. I try to ignore the fact that there are dead bodies around me. I stop myself from retching. I grab the bone saw and start sawing away at the anklet. I hear a loud pop and a hiss. It breaks in half. I run for the door. I run outside and I see a Jeep. I jump in it. Oh Lord, please let the keys be here. I look around frantically for the keys, but they were in the ignition. I flip the switch. I turn on I ignite the car and I start driving as fast as I can. I see an open field. I break through the fence and I start driving as fast as I can. When I get about halfway through the field, it runs out of gas, and the sun is setting. Fuck, no. I jump out of the Jeep and I run as fast as I can. I see a town about a mile or two away, maybe 5 miles. I start running as fast as I can. I don't even know what the distance it was. I run, and I run, and I notice a street that's familiar. It's my street. What? How did it? I don't even question it. I run to my house, and I run inside and slam the door. All of my belongings are still there. How the fuck? I lay in bed. I run. I lock the door, and I jump on my bed, cradling myself by the knees, swaying back and forth, still gun in hand. Then I snap back into reality. I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time for this shit. I jump out of the bed, and I run to the door, looking out the peephole, frantically running around the house, looking out each window and each crevice. I'm exhausted. I collapse out of exhaustion. I need to get some rest. This is insane. He hasn't come back for me yet. The sun is starting to come up. he's not coming back. He's not coming back. It was just a bad incident. That's all. That's all it was. Tomorrow, I'll get some rest, and tomorrow I'll call the police. I'll tell them where that sick freak is, and that sick freak will die by the hands of the justice system. But I pass out, and here's the funny thing. I wake up, not in my house, but I wake up and a bright white light flashes in my face. And all of a sudden, I feel myself, I'm strapped to a table. I'm Tom and 3 other men that I'd never seen before walk up to me. The other 3, they have like surgical masks on. Tom looks at me and says, "Told you I'd get you." Lays me down, puts a gas mask on my face, and says, "Alright, cut the cord." And then I wake up in my bedroom